Yo, what is going on, everyone? You got Kyla from Sports Pulse here, bringing you guys another UFC breakdown. As you guys know, I've been kind of on fire with this UFC shit. 14 event win streak, unfortunately, came to an end last week on the Sphere. Super weird card, man. I had some bad reads, put my money in some bad places. Trusted in the guy, Brian Ortega, to win at least one round, man. Just one round. I had his spread. He couldn't do that for us. That's alright. You live, you learn. All good things have to come to an end. If you guys are not already in the Discord, you know what I'm about to do. Promote the Discord right here, man. Join up. You see all these guys. We're sharing slips in here, posting wins. My guy Schmoopy right here. This guy does play of the days. Already hit a plus 100 prop for the MLB. And this is on Fliff. You know they neuter the shit out of their lines. This is probably a plus 110 prop on all their books. And we're cashing, man. Everyone's cashing out in here. The free plays are hitting. The VIP is especially hitting. Look at this fucking dude right here. Oh my lord. And then right here, most successful day of gambling, this guy said, all due to the plays from the Discord. We put this guy on right here, $82. He's saving up to go to an Anthony Pettis fight club. In fucking, Virginia. And Dustin Poirier is going to be there. He said the tickets were $80. He put $10 on this to hit for $80. This guy's going to meet Dustin Poirier because he's in the Discord, man. You just can't make stuff like that up. You'll love to see it. This guy right here, of course, Panda, my man's always tailing the plays. Look at this shit, dude. Oh my god, 190. What is that? 169. Sorry, not 190. This guy right here. Everything, man. These are some free plays mixed in with the YouTube plays. Everyone is cashing out. Look at this, the free square, man. We gave him a pair. Of course it hit. You already know. This guy right here flipped his flip dollar. Now he's up big. It's just easy, man. All these VIP plays going up. You see on the side here, we have my little section. We have our guy Sal. He does mostly money lines. Then we got Schmoopy here. This guy's always in the lab cooking up some MLB for us to close out the season, getting into playoffs. And yeah, you know what? Without further ado, I'm going to stop promoting the Discord too hard here. And let's just get right into this breakdown. Alright, starting off this card. I'm going to go a little bit quicker through these. It's later in the week. You guys probably don't need an entire full breakdown, my entire script prediction for every fight. I'm going to go through the fights where I think there's value. I think I'm going to place a bet there. I'm going to give you guys some free bets, some free picks. And then, of course, the more picks are going to be in the VIP. The picks that have been profitable for 14 out of the last 15 weeks. Yeah, so starting off here, we got Balaji versus Chris Duncan. Now, this one right here is a little interesting because I don't think that Balaji should be a minus 190. It says slight. I don't think that's very slight, all right? I think that's more moderate. But I think Chris Duncan, he is one of the toughest fighters we've seen. He's always going life and death in the octagon. This guy has been... I've seen this guy on death's doorstep more times than I care to admit. The fact that he only has 2 losses is crazy. This guy on this Contender Series fight, literally out of the fight, about to die, and then he comes back to life, puts out Charlie Campbell in spectacular fashion, earns himself that contract, rightfully so. This guy's always in a fun fight, never boring, okay? Balaji, in my opinion, is a little bit overrated. I think that a good jab and a good 1-2 will put him down, but Chris Duncan's a little wild. He also loves to get hit. I think this is more of a pick'em fight, so if you're making me pick here for a value, I'm going to pick Chris Duncan, but I think I might slightly lean Balaji on the actual pick for the fight. I don't know if I'm going to have too much action here. I might check out the decision no bets and that kind of stuff, maybe buy some points on the judges' scorecards. I'm not too certain what I'm going to do with this one. I'd say the value's on Chris Duncan, but I'm leaning Balaji. Now we're getting up here. This one's got a lot of people torn. I see a lot of people super high on Jacqueline Cavalcanti for beating up Josiane Nunes. I'm here to tell you guys, Josiane Nunes is trash. She is not a good fighter. She just wails hooks. She's fat, doesn't belong in the weight class, and needed to go down in weight very badly. But Nora Cornwall here. Cornwall, don't even care. I think she might be able to do this, man. These two fought a while ago, and Jacqueline kind of beat her up a little bit. The only thing scaring me off of an actual bet here is the age. 34, I know it's women's bantamweight. That's kind of where the older women tend to end up, kind of like the men's heavyweight divisions. But I think that Jacqueline taking this on short notice is a little bit scary. I know she's out of Portugal, so it's not like she's going across the country to get to the event. Nora Cornwall is going to have the home advantage here, being from France, obviously. And I think that she has potential to put Jacqueline out. In their first fight, she had a nice spinning back fist, rocked her. I believe that was in the first round. And I think that she can piece something like that together. Obviously, you're seeing here 2-0 in the UFC, 2-0 in the UFC. They both have the same amount of experience. I think that Nora's wins are maybe a little bit more impressive, but I'm not saying that with too much confidence. Another thing that a lot of people aren't talking about is the fact that their reaches are just about the same. We think of Jacqueline as this super lanky fighter that's going to just outrange everyone. She's not really going to outrange Nora too much here. So again, this is another one where I'm kind of leaning Jacqueline, but the value is definitely going to be on Nora. Here we go. We got Daniel Barres versus Victor Altamirano. And I see some people having action on the under in this fight. I think you're crazy, man. I don't think Victor is going to be able to put out Daniel, and if Daniel cracks the Mexican chin at flyweight, holy shit. We're going to have to start talking about this guy as the real deal here. 0-1 in the UFC. You can't really talk too bad about that, though. And I think this is going to be a really fun fight. This definitely has fight of the night potential. These guys are both just moving forward. The striking's a little questionable from Victor here, but I think he has a definite advantage on the ground. I think I'm definitely leaning him. I think he's going to be able to get this fight to the ground, but this is one of my least confident picks on the entire card. One of the fights I did the least amount of research on. I just didn't have the time. Flyweight fights sometimes they can be a little boring to research, but that sounds super casual, but I just get busy during the week, man. You can't really blame me too much there. So I'll lean on Victor. Probably not going to bet this one because I didn't do my proper research on it. Lots of research done. No, I'm just kidding. We got Eileen Perez versus Daria Zelenskova. Just butchered the shit out of that name. Holy. Anyways, we got Eileen Perez, OnlyFans model, shaking ass after she wins. Then you got Daria here, who's like an alright striker with some pretty trash takedown defense. And if you were to ask me like 24 hours ago, I'd say this is Eileen Perez all day of the week. Just spamming the takedowns, laying on top of her. But I don't know if you guys saw Eileen on the scales today. She looked horrible. She stepped off the scale, had to have two people holding her up. Her legs were just buckling underneath her whole walk backstage. That's not a good look. That's not somewhere I'm looking to place my money. I might take a shot here on Daria, man. I think she could maybe piece up a decision here. I think she can outstrike Eileen Perez on the feet, and if she can stuff those takedowns from the depleted Eileen, I think she's in a very good spot here to win this fight. Taylor Lapilus versus Vince Morales. We got Vince Morales back in the UFC. He's done a few stints in the UFC, and I think he's back this time for hopefully more than just this one fight. Taylor Lapilus, unfortunately, is probably going to beat him, and it's not even going to be an exciting win. It's just going to be a decision. He's going to keep him on the edge of his strikes, keep him back, mix in the wrestling if he has to, but I don't think he really wants to against Vince Morales. I think that's where Vince Morales is going to want this fight. He's going to be shooting the takedowns. I do trust Taylor, though, to stuff those takedowns and keep this fight on the feet where he wants it to be, jab him up from range, hit him with the 1-2s. I could even see a little head kicks coming through. Not going to knock him out, obviously, because Taylor goes to decision. That's what he does. But it's something you can think about. It's going to be there, in my opinion. So you got to give me Taylor by decision. That's a relatively high confidence pick. Ludovic Klein and Roosevelt Roberts. This one, the odds, obviously, minus 1,000. You kind of know which way you got to go on this one. Ludovic Klein, this guy, unfortunately, loves going to decision as well. I don't get it, man. There's these guys he should be finishing the way he's dominating them for the whole fight. He has a very impressive win over Ignacio Bahamondes. That win is just aging better and better as Ignacio goes and knocks out everyone, including Roosevelt Roberts, that spinning head kick. Oh my lord. Anyways, the Predator here, that's a terrible nickname. Jesus Christ. Mr. Highlights, probably, man, it's so hard not to pick a knockout against Roosevelt Roberts. Because Roosevelt Roberts is a very lanky fighter. He's got the same reach, though, with a massive height advantage, which is a little bit interesting to see. He likes to fire off that 1-2, then the 1-2, then the 1-2. He doesn't do anything special, nothing crazy. It's the same combos the whole fight. Super basic, very technical kickboxing base. He's not going to do anything flashy. He's going to stand there, throw his jab, throw his 1-2, throw his hook, and then body kick, and that's it. Like, that's his whole arsenal. He's not, like, super washed or anything. He's only 30. However, I think Ludovic should get a finish in this fight, but in my opinion, he's going to mix in the wrestling. He's going to take it to a decision, 30-26. This one right here is the fight that I'm really looking forward to. We got Omar Sy versus Dawoon Jung. And Dawoon Jung, if you were to go back a few years here, I would say that Da Un Jung is smoking this guy. However, Da Un Jung has kind of fallen off a little bit, had a massive win streak, massive unbeaten streak, I believe. And then he just kind of stopped performing at a high level. He got subbed up by Carlos Ulberg last time out, which is not a good look at all. You're getting subbed by a city kickboxing guy. I think you need to reevaluate what you're doing with your MMA career. And Omar Sy, he's unique. He's a light heavyweight prospect that has a very good grappling base. He's competent on the feet. He can hold his own on the feet. But this guy's looking to get the fight to the ground. And if you look at the top 15 in the light heavyweight division, I want to talk about grapplers. This guy's not going to, if he's going through the top 15 here, he's not going to have any trouble until he gets to a guy like, oh man, he's a guy like Nikita Krylov maybe? I know he's fighting against Azamat Mirzakhanov. That is a banger fight, by the way. Someone is getting put out bad. But yeah, I think he's in a very good spot to make his run in this division, make his mark. I think, in my opinion, this fight's a pretty straightforward sub. I think he's going to take the first round to kind of figure Da Un Jung out. Da Un Jung has a tendency to survive. He didn't get knocked out against Carlos Ulberg when everyone was expecting him to. I think he's going to put up a fight for the first round, maybe the second round. We're looking at a round 2 or 3 Omar Sy sub. And that'll probably be a bet for me. I'm going to give you that one. I'm going to be betting Omar Sy by sub. Here we go, the guys who's never been in a boring fight. Ion Cutelaba versus Ivan Erslan. And you know what? When I have a guy who has popped for steroids before on multiple occasions, you got to pick him, man, against Ion Cutelaba, who loves getting hit. I don't think Ion Cutelaba is going to have the fight IQ to wrestle this guy. If he does wrestle this guy, he should absolutely win. However, the start of every single round, he's going to be in danger until he gets that takedown. Because Ivan hits like a dude who's on steroids, okay? This guy's going to try and come out there swinging. He's going to be swanging and banging, trying his best to put Ion out of there. And I think Ion Cutelaba is going to bite down on the mouthpiece, swing back, and get put out again. This guy's losing to Tanner Bozier. You cannot be doing that, man. Here we go, next fight up. This one I'm also really looking forward to. We got Faraz Ziam versus Matt Frevola. You've probably never heard anyone say they're looking forward to a Faraz Ziam fight before, but I'm making a very, very, very bold pick here. I think Faraz is going to put Frevola out. I think Frevola compromises himself all of the time when he's throwing his strikes, putting himself in very bad positions, very compromised positions. And I think Ziam is going to use his boring style to slow this fight down, keep him on the edge of his strikes, and I think he's going to find a very, very weird counter strike. It's going to be kind of like Izzy versus Paulo Costa, where everyone's like, why did that knock him down? Why did that knock him out? It looks like it barely hit him, but it's going to be like just a weird temple hook shot as Frevola's blitzing in. I'm very aware that there is a chance Frevola takes him down and just holds him down and wins a decision, but I like to be a little bold sometimes. Faraz Ziam has not knocked anyone out in the UFC. He has not knocked anyone out in a very long time. I'm picking him to beat up the chinny Frevola. This guy got flatlined by Terrence McKinney in 7 seconds. I see a lot of people pointing to the fact that he has a win over Jalen Turner, another like rangy striker. Dude, that was a 23-year-old Jalen Turner who had just debuted very recently. Jalen Turner debuted against prime Vicente Luque, guys. Like that shit ain't fair, okay? He didn't get a fair shot in his first couple fights. But yeah, that was 6 years ago against a very raw Jalen Turner. I don't really count that very much. Faraz Ziam has some good wins, like over the GOAT Figlock. My boy Mikhail Figlock, absolute dog. Probably should have not lost that fight, but is what it is. Another thing that worries me with the takedowns, we were saying this guy got taken down like 7 times by Claudio Puelles, but I think it's because he kind of knew that he was winning that fight on the feet. With the judging criteria, he wasn't too worried about Claudio Puelles just sitting in the guard. Next up, we got Morgan Charrier versus Gabriel Miranda. Now here's another one where Morgan Charrier is probably just going to go out there and spark Gabriel Miranda. However, I think we need to pump the brakes a little bit on Charrier. Again, I do think he wins this fight, but should he really be a minus 700? That's kind of up for you guys to decide. I don't know if I'm going to be touching him at this line. I think his grappling hasn't been tested nearly enough. I think Gabriel Miranda has a very minuscule chance to really blow some parlays here and sub up Morgan Charrier. I think I might have to throw a little sprinkle out there on a Gabriel Miranda submission. He's a very high-level grappler. Charrier is going to come forward. We saw him hold his own against Chepe Mariscal, who we just saw beat the shit out of Damon Jackson for a full 15 minutes. And I don't know, because Chepe probably should have finished Damon Jackson with the amount of times that guy's been finished. A lot of people thought that was an incredible performance, which it was, but In my opinion, he should have finished Damon Jackson. So that kind of discredits Morgan Charrier a little bit because he lost to him. I'm not paying the minus 700, 650, whatever it is. You guys can do you, I'm going to do me. That's just not something I'm looking to do. Got Kevin Jousset and Bryan Battle going to war right now. And now I feel like this fight's kind of a trap, man. I don't know. Something just weird is telling me this fight's a trap. Kevin Jousset feels like he should not win this fight. And everything's pointing to Bryan Battle, but the line isn't moving like it should. I don't really know how to describe this, man. Now, Kevin Jousset, and absolutely nothing to scoff at here. This guy went to war with Kenan Song, beat the shit out of him. He choked out Kiefer Crosby. That guy has no ground game. When he took him down, he didn't even try and defend the neck. I don't really know what happened there. That was a little strange to me. But this guy was on a good run. He was fighting in the Hex Fight Series, I believe. He got a couple title defenses over there. And then he was also fighting in Eternal. He lost to JDM. You can't scoff at a JDM loss. And then he lost to the champ over there. Caleb Rideout was the champ for a vacant belt, again fighting after JDM left. And I mean, again, you can't scoff at these kind of losses, especially to JDM. That guy's probably going to be one of the next champs of the 170 division. But Bryan Battle's so tough, man. He never accepts defeat. Even when this guy has Rinat Fakhretdinov all over him. I mean, Rinat was pushing a crazy pace, just riding on him. No diddy. And then Bryan Battle is never accepting position. He's not sitting there on his back. He looks like a guy that's always going to fight for your money. So I feel like that's a guy that you kind of got to bet on. It's a guy you want to bet on. I don't know if I'm settling in on a bet. The pick has to be Bryan Battle. But do not sleep on Kevin Jousset, guys. I see a lot of people disrespecting him, saying he's trash, he doesn't have good wins. I think Kevin Jousset's going to make a lot of people upset if he wins this fight. Because I think this fight should be a pick'em, so I might sprinkle a little something on my guy Kevin. Here we go, we got the most boring fighter in the featherweight division versus the most exciting fighter in the featherweight division. Should be an interesting one. Anderson Brito has been on an absolute tear. Just kicked Jack Shore so hard he exposed the bone in his shin, and then the ref started fingering the guy's shin. No idea what was up with that. And then don't forget, this guy has a win over Diego Lopez, the soaring prospect, number 3 ranked. And it was a technical decision from an eye poke in the 3rd round. I understand that, but Brito was not at risk of losing that fight. And then William Gomi here. This guy's a stinker. This guy really, really stinks. This guy's going to come in there. He's going to make this as boring of a fight as he possibly can. I mean, William Gomi just hasn't done a single impressive thing in the UFC yet. And he took Jarno Aarons to a decision, a majority decision, by the way, not even a unanimous. He took Francis Marshall to a split decision. You cannot be going to split decision with Francis Marshall. Francis Marshall had his back 2 hooks in. Could not finish the choke because he's garbage. And then this guy's taking Giannis Gomori to round 3, man. What on God's name are you doing with Giannis Gomori in the 3rd round? You saw Peyton Talbot dispose of that guy in 20 seconds. That's just unacceptable behavior. You're never getting bet on. Yeah, there's a chance he can stink out a decision if he can manage to keep the range, but even in a Diego Lopez fight, Anderson Brito just walked right forward, pushed him against the cage, took him down. I think he's going to do the same. I think if Francis Marshall's able to get your back 2 hooks in, I think Brito's going to do the same. I think Brito's going to strangle this guy. Give me Brito by submission. And now this one right here is a little interesting because I think Nasruddin Imavov absolutely smokes Brendan Allen. But I'm in the minority, I feel, from what I'm seeing all over Twitter, all over YouTube, all this stuff. I don't like to take picks from other guys, but I kind of look around to see if my opinion is matching with others, to know if I'm on the right side or the wrong side, or if I should reevaluate something. And I see a lot of love for Brendan Allen, but I just don't get him, man. This guy's going life and death with Chris Curtis. Like Chris Curtis. Sean Strickland's little dildo. That's not alright, man. You can't be doing that shit. And then Imavov is out here. He knocked out Cannonier. Yes, it was an early stoppage, but guess what's going to happen if they let that fight continue another 10, 15 seconds? Cannonier's going to sleep, all right? He's 40 years old. He doesn't need to take an unnecessary knockout. I was mad in the moment because I had the over. It is what it is, but I understand why the ref did what he did there. And I think Imavov is just going to smoke Allen on the feet. I think Allen's going to try and close the distance. Imavov has a really good takedown defense against the cage, which is where Brendan Allen does his best takedowns. He walks forward and just gets hit. This guy doesn't give 2 shits how many times you punch him. He's going to keep walking forward. He's like a less skilled DDP, which is crazy to say. And I just think Imavov can keep it on the feet. It's a 3-round fight, not a 5-round. But I think if Imavov is going to be the one asking for the 3-round fight, he's going to come out with a high-paced game plan. He's going to beat the shit out of him in the 1st round. And yeah, in my opinion, it's a clear 30-27, but a lot of people are on Allen, so I'm kind of reevaluating the bet there. Coming into the main event, we got Renato Moicano taking on Benoit Saint-Denis. And this is another one where I see a lot of love for Moicano, but I think BSD is going to beat the ever-living shit out of him, man. These guys are in two completely different spots in their careers. Moicano, obviously 35. A fun fact right here that I just recently learned today. Benoit Saint-Denis, in the year 2019, started his MMA career. Renato Moicano in 2019 was fighting Jose Aldo. I mean, that's insane. Insanity. Two completely different spots in their careers. BSD is young. He's hungry. This guy's literally fucking killed people, alright? God of War is very fitting for how he fights. Everyone's pointing to the Poirier loss. Dude, there's no fucking shame in losing to Poirier. Whether he had a staph infection or not, losing to Poirier is not something you can scoff at. Dustin Poirier is a top 5 lightweight of all time, and he has never won the belt. I mean, he's done unspeakable things for the UFC, in the UFC, had some great fights, some great wins. You cannot be mad at him for losing to Dustin Poirier. Renato Moicano is not Dustin Poirier. Renato Moicano gets hit a lot. He does have very underrated control, pressure. He controlled Jalen Turner and Drew Dober. Drew Dober has a very poor bottom game, no grappling base. Jalen Turner's a quitter. And Benoit Saint-Denis, in my opinion, is just going to come with an onslaught round one, same way he did to a guy like Ishmael Bonfim. It's just going to be body kick, body kick, body kick, takedown. He's going to beat him up on the ground a little bit. I think Renato Moicano, another thing right here, I think Renato's going to be shooting takedowns, which obviously he should be. He does not want this fight on the feet. Benoit Saint-Denis doesn't seem like he really defends takedowns. It's kind of weird. It's like he wants to be on his back a little bit. And I don't know if that was just like a poor habit in his early fights. He's probably worked on that since then. Just kind of something I picked up on. It didn't seem like he really cared to stuff a takedown at all. Which, I mean, obviously, he comes from like the military background. They train grappling a ton, hand-to-hand combat, all that stuff. So he probably is very confident down there. I think his striking's evolving. Hopefully he comes out with a better game plan to preserve some energy. Another thing I do want to say, the first round against Dustin Poirier looked a lot similar to what Islam Makhachev was doing to Dustin Poirier, okay? I'm not saying Benoit Saint-Denis is anything like Islam Makhachev in terms of skill, but I'm saying they both had Dustin Poirier in some of the exact same positions early on in that fight. I think Benoit's legit. I think he's coming for the top. I do think he belongs up there with those type of fighters. Wasn't his night against Dustin Poirier. That's all right. Renato Moicano, his path to victory. Pray to God that Benoit Saint-Denis gasses out trying to finish him. Moicano, he is a little bit durable. I mean, he's going to the 5th round with RDA. Not a great look. Obviously, it was a catch weight, and he took it on short notice. But I think Benoit has the tools to get him out of there. I'm debating on a bet, man. 290 is pretty damn wide. But I do have confidence in Benoit Saint-Denis. I think this is a great bounce-back opportunity for him. Renato Moicano is going to be chirping the whole time. If he wins, it's going to be a good press conference, a good post-fight interview. But I'm going to be cheering for Benoit Saint-Denis. Again, if you want to see all the bets that have been profitable in the last 14 out of 15 events, join the Discord, join the VIP. First 2 links in the description below. And other than that, we'll catch you guys in the next one. We got college football, NFL, everything coming up. Join us in those videos for some more free picks, man. Catch you later.